He broke down. Witnesses said a group of young gang members had confronted the boys because of something stupid, an online video game argument. Marcus had trash-talked Ace during a match the night before, teasing him in front of other players. Ace took it personally. Too personally. So when they saw Marcus and his friend walking down the street the next day, Ace stepped forward, wanting to teach him a lesson. Words turned into shoves. Shoves turned into punches. And then, somehow, in the middle of the chaos, someone pulled a knife, someone stabbed Marcus, and someone ran. No cameras. No clear eyewitness. Just a sidewalk full of terrified kids, none of them sure who actually held the knife. But Thelma? She said something that made the whole crowd go silent.
Bring them all in. I saw who did it from a distance. Every last boy who was there, I'll tell you which one did it.
Her voice didn't shake. Her hands did, but her voice didn't. We took in everyone connected, including the young man who would become the center of this entire story. Aaron Ace Delgado, a low-rank street kid. My name is Officer Malik Grant, and I've worn this badge long enough to see almost everything human beings can do to each other. But there is one story, one I can't forget even if I wanted to. A story about justice, mercy, karma, and how none of them ever rush. They walk slowly, but they never lose their way. This case started on a bright Saturday morning in Eastbrook, one of those neighborhoods where the old ladies still sweep the sidewalks, but the gangs still own the corners. I was on patrol, sipping burnt station coffee when the call came through. A stabbing. A teenager. Multiple suspects. The kind of call that makes the air in the cruiser turn heavy. When I reached the sidewalk, I saw her, the grandmother. Small, gray-haired, dark skin shining with tears, she was fighting hard not to let fall. Her name was Mrs. Thelma Rivers, a churchwoman, a woman who'd already buried her daughter, and now she was kneeling beside her grandson, a 16-year-old boy named Marcus, and he was already gone. His friend, a boy named Dre, stood nearby shaking so hard he could barely talk. He kept saying, "It was an accident. He didn't mean." Who stabbed him? I don't know. They were fighting. It was nothing serious. Then somebody pushed, and he broke down. Witnesses said a group of young gang members had confronted the boys because of something stupid, an online video game argument. Marcus had trash-talked Ace during a match the night before, teasing him in front of other players. Ace took it personally. Too personally. So when they saw Marcus and his friend walking down the street the next day, Ace stepped forward, wanting to teach him a lesson. Words turned into shoves. Shoves turned into punches. And then, somehow, in the middle of the chaos, someone pulled a knife, someone stabbed Marcus, and someone ran. No cameras. No clear eyewitness. Just a sidewalk full of terrified kids, none of them sure who actually held the knife. But Thelma? She said something that made the whole crowd go silent.
Bring them all in. I saw who did it from a distance. Every last boy who was there, I'll tell you which one did it.
Her voice didn't shake. Her hands did, but her voice didn't. We took in everyone connected, including the young man who would become the center of this entire story. Aaron Ace Delgado, a low-rank street kid who tried to look tough but had eyes that flickered too much. Gang pressure can turn boys into wolves, but their eyes always betray them. Days later, we put them all in a lineup. 10 boys, 10 pairs of shaking legs, 10 terrified breaths fogging the mirror. I stood beside her as she walked the line. One by one, step by slow step, her hand clutching her purse like it held the whole universe inside it. Ace stood near the middle, trying to look bold, but sweat was rolling behind his ear. Thelma stopped right in front of him, dead center. He swallowed, he trembled. He whispered under his breath, "I'm sorry, I didn't mean..." Then something unbelievable happened. She stepped away, walked past him, walked past the rest, and said,
None of them are the killer.
My jaw almost dropped. The whole room went silent. Detectives whispered, lawyers argued. But the court had no evidence, no ID, no confession. Every suspect, including Ace, was released. Ace walked out of that courthouse thinking he'd escaped death itself. He didn't even know what waited outside. But Thelma? She waited. She followed him around the corner, where no cameras were pointed. I wasn't there, but I later learned exactly what she said because Ace told me himself years later, word for word.
I know it was you.
What?
Don't lie. I saw your hand, I saw your face, I saw your fear.
Then why didn't you tell them?
Because jail is too easy. Jail would end your suffering. I want you to live, to breathe, to sleep, and one day, to lose something you truly love.
Ma'am, please.
That is the revenge God will allow me. Now go.
She turned around and walked away, like she'd sentenced him to life imprisonment without speaking to a judge. Ace said he didn't sleep for weeks. And honestly, I believed him. But life moves. People forget. Even guilt fades when routine grows strong enough. Years went by. Ace, surprisingly, left the gang life. Became a construction worker. Steady paycheck, clean clothes, early mornings. He changed. People can change. Sometimes because they want to. Sometimes because they need to outrun their past. He fell in love with a woman named Elena, a sweet girl who worked at a bakery. They married, they laughed, they built a small life. And when she got pregnant, Ace cried like a baby in the ultrasound room. I witnessed all of this only because fate made me cross his path again. I became the community liaison officer for the area he lived in. The guy who checks up on reformed youth. The guy who tries to keep old wolves from returning to old packs. Ace was always respectful, always humble, but he carried something in his eyes. Something heavy, something old. One night, everything shattered. A 911 call. A robbery in progress. Shots fired. When I arrived at the small house, Ace was sitting on the front steps, shirt covered in blood, screaming into the night. Elena was gone. 2 thieves had broken in. They wanted money, jewelry, whatever they could grab. Elena panicked. Ace tried to protect her. A gun went off. I tried to pull him away from the paramedics, but he clung to her body like he could anchor her spirit back into the world. He sobbed until he couldn't breathe. Later, as I drove him to the station to make a statement, he whispered something I'll never forget. "Officer Grant, it happened. What she said, it happened." What who said? He stared out the window. The old woman, Marcus's grandmother. She said one day I'd feel the pain of losing someone I love. My hands tightened on the wheel. Ace, you changed your life. You tried. And I lost anyway. His voice cracked into a desperate laugh. A broken laugh. The kind of sound that doesn't belong to a human, but to someone who's been split open by fate. I didn't say anything. What could I say? He wiped his eyes. She cursed me. She didn't curse you. She warned you what guilt would do to you. No, officer. She knew. She knew life would come back for me. He turned away. His shoulders shook. He whispered, "It wasn't an accident. This was my sentence." Later that night, after we released him to go home, I saw him walking down the street alone. No jacket, no umbrella, just rain and misery swallowing him whole. He never returned to the construction job. Never smiled again. He buried his wife and visited her grave every day. Every single day. And then, Mrs. Thelma Rivers, the grandmother, passed away peacefully in her sleep a year later. Ace attended the funeral. He stood in the back, head bowed, hands shaking. And he whispered into her coffin, "You were right, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry." He didn't ask for forgiveness. He knew he didn't deserve it. He walked away a broken man. A man crushed not by prison, but by karma. And that's something no judge can deliver. Thanks for watching.